It's your money, and
Right.
you know, some of the richest athletes in the NBA or former athletes that have money know how to invest in, invest on, pay their mortgage, buy a decent house, not the nicest house, so you have money left over. It's just like it's a life lesson. I mean, you know what I mean?
Right. I mean,
you can't be throwing millions out there on 5 new cars, house in Florida, house in Rhode Island, house in California, house in New York.
Other than, nobody wants to live in Rhode Island, but.
No, there's nice houses.
No, I know there's nice houses there.
But I'm just saying, it's like just random. Like,
no, I mean that's exactly what this story, and obviously the rest of the story is opinion, so I'm not going to take this as fact, but. It says right here, we've all heard stories of NBA players owning 15 cars, 5 vacation homes, and it says right after this, the sad part is most of these players lack education and support outside of their possessions and families. So half of it is just
exactly what I just said.
Yeah, half of it is just being stupid and blowing your money out.
Right.
But also a lot of these players, I mean, right now are having take 1 year of college because it's required, and the NBA won't let you, work your way around that. So they're only, taking 1 year of college, and after they get out, they're not going back to, for the most part. I'm not gonna say everything because, there are cases where some NBA players choose to go back to school, but for the most part, these players don't have a degree, don't have a diploma, and once they get out of the league, they just keep spending like they did when they were a player, and obviously simple math. The money's going to run out.
Right. And the other thing that blows my mind, if you go bankrupt and you have all these promotions, you get money from Nike, you get money from Adidas, and you blow all that money off too? Are you kidding me?
Right. Well, I mean,
it wasn't, it wasn't that filthy rich like it is now back in the day.
Right.
Like with Antoine Walker Ewing, bankruptcy, Tony Kukoc, I think, filed. They're just random players out there, who probably didn't have promotions, probably didn't make enough money. That might be the only thing.
That's the thing. I mean, I think.
And they're buying these houses like they have $500,000, like to $1 billion. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Right. No, I mean, I think that this study. I think that they took all the players, so you average it together, and on average 5 years after, but those players that are, bankrupt, they're probably the average player. So I'm certainly not defending them, but they didn't make, hundreds of millions of dollars like a Kobe or a LeBron would.
Right.
That has endorsements. I mean,
maybe $1 billion.
I mean, your average player isn't going to appear on a Nike commercial all the time. I mean, who do you see? You see Kobe, you see LeBron, you see Kevin Durant. So, I mean, you're not going to have Marquise Daniels on a Nike commercial. He might be sponsored or he endorses Nike, but he's not going to make money off of commercials, and he's your average NBA player.
Right.
So I think it's a little bit different if you have, like a guy like LeBron. More than likely, he's not going to go bankrupt. Obviously he's made a lot of money, his contract itself, but he's made hundreds of millions from Nike. So, it's definitely more of a challenge to try to go bankrupt when you have all that kind of money than it is for a player that doesn't make as much. But it's still ridiculous and it's still unexcusable to make, millions and within 5 years, which that's the most startling thing because, I mean, things happen, players go bankrupt, but within 5 years of playing, I mean, that's only 5 years removed. And I'm not saying that having made all that money, it would be smart to go bankrupt at all.
Yeah.
But that's soon. That's basically right after you get out of the league.
Yeah.
You're 40 years old, and then 5 years after you get out of the league, you're bankrupt. This doesn't make any sense to me.
Right, and then we talk about the lockout. I mean, the lockout's the best thing for the NBA right now.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Because this money could go overboard to the billions, which is flat out ridiculous.
Well, it just doesn't make sense to me because, the players' union is fighting to get these players more money, Yet if they have a lockout, they're just going to lose money.
Right. And
So I mean,
the point I'm trying to make at is, with all this money distributed out, with the lockout being over, the NBA players are going to learn a lesson that money. No, that they're gonna be short. They're not gonna be making that much money. Not gonna be making 100 million,
No.
90 million.
Right.
This money is gonna go flat out down. Probably, probably in the, I don't know, highest paid contract, probably 30 million. Maybe not even that, because they're trying to save money for this struggling economy. I mean, you know what I mean? All this money is going to the NBA. I mean, they make money off all the purchases and stuff like that. What I'm saying is, this money is definitely going to decrease after the lockout.
Right.
And these players are going to learn a life lesson that you can't make all the money in the world. And that's what the Players Union is trying to do. They're trying to give every NBA player the dream.
Right.
The dream of making $1 million, the dream of making $500,000, the dream of making $1 billion. And that's where I think LeBron's headed. He's gonna make $1 billion.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
With his promotions, with Nike and stuff like that.
But there's one thing I don't get though is, I mean, obviously, the NBA hasn't gone through a lockout recently. I don't know. I remember one season was cut short at the All-Star break.
Right.
A few years ago, but obviously none of the players still playing experienced that. But there have been others. I mean, even if you look at it, though, I mean, the players have to know that, with a lockout, they're not going to make